ever wondered why you are where you are? I mean, where you live, what you do, where you work, who you spend your time with. For most of us, it's just not predictable. We spend our life letting it unfold. We go down this road and not that road. We go through that door and not this door. We choose that direction and not this direction. Way leads on to way. Day goes after day, year goes after year, and suddenly we end up somewhere. After a while, you find yourself and you wonder, is this all coincidence or is it orchestrated? Or is it divinely providential or accidental? I'm here at Cross in the Woods Catholic Shrine in Indian River, Michigan, to tell you a very personal story and a profoundly tragic story in my family's history. It's a story that I think is divinely orchestrated for reasons that are yet to be revealed to me. It's a path that continues to unfold in front of me, one I'm still finding out about. In the words of the Grateful Dead, what a long, strange trip it's been. Cross in the Woods is a beautiful and powerfully spiritual place. At the epicenter of these grounds is this: the world's largest outdoor crucifix. It towers 55 feet up and is constructed of 2 pieces of redwood cut from the same tree. Every year, hundreds of thousands of pilgrims from around the world travel here to pray, show reverence, give thanks, and seek spiritual renewal, healing, and peace. It was 70 years ago today that this cross was solemnly blessed and dedicated by the bishop. It was also 70 years ago today that my sister Elaine died. Elaine was the second of 3 children Mom and Dad had at the time. Elaine came down with polio and died within 3 days. The suddenness and the tragedy of losing a child at such a young age is just unimaginable. Dad passed away in 2006. When we lost Mom 3 years ago, we found this in her belongings. It's a handmade greeting card, it looks like, with a picture cut out and pasted on top of angels with trumpets blaring in front of the risen Christ. Handwritten in pencil at the top are the words, "Dear Elaine." The handwriting looks to be like that of a child, so I'm guessing it's something that maybe Elaine's older brother, little Joe, created for her. As far as I know, none of my brothers and sisters knew anything about this card until after Mom passed, so I'm left to guess that little Joe was given this card and the materials to make a kind of a greeting card to his little sister in heaven. It seems reasonable to me to suggest that perhaps that's 12 o'clock. Those are the church bells for 12 o'clock. It was 12 o'clock noon on this day 70 years ago that Elaine took her last breath. Tragically, little Joe would join his little sister in heaven just 2 years and 2 months later. He was only 8 years old when he was watching a baseball game from the sidelines in the schoolyard after school. The batter hit a foul ball that struck little Joe in the head. It didn't knock him out, but the next day he woke up with a headache. Being a nurse, my mom was concerned enough to rush him to the hospital, where he fell into a coma later that day and died. Within 26 months, Mom and Dad lost their first 2 children at the tender ages of 5 and 8. How they found the strength to continue on is a testament to their faith, their love for each other, and for the 5 other children they raised to adulthood, including me. Here's where I get the goosebumps. When you open up the card and refold it, It appears to be an invitation to attend the solemn blessing of the newly constructed cross at the Cross in the Woods National Shrine in Indian River on this day in 1954, the same day Elaine passed away. So it looks like they were planning on coming here, but those plans changed when Elaine took ill. Why the goosebumps? Because this is where I now go to church. Long before I knew about this card and the circumstances surrounding my sister's passing, my wife and I decided to move away from our home in southern Indiana, where we had lived for the last 20 years. The whole move, even the decision to move in the first place, has got divine providence written all over it. 5 years ago, my wife turns to me right out of the blue and says, "We're moving." I was gobsmacked. We had that house fixed up just the way we wanted it. We had lived there 20 years, and I thought I was going to end my days there. But she had had it with the Ohio Valley heat and humidity, and I can't blame her. So I told her, "Well, okay, but you're going to have to give me 5 years to get used to the idea." Silly me. She says, "No, I'm ready right now." But I don't make changes that fast, especially changes of that magnitude. There's just too much to consider. So I dug in my heels. Then the strangest thing happened. I was on a business trip to Maine. I rented a car and stopped into Portland, got out to get a bite to eat. Parked my car and I stepped up to the sidewalk and I found that I was standing right smack in front of a real estate office. Next thing I know, I'm inside the door asking to look at their residential properties. Now, I ask you this. How does a person go from, "I need 5 years," to 2 weeks later sitting down with a realtor in Maine looking for a new home? I'll tell you how it happens. It's when God removes obstacles from your heart. I learned a long time ago to listen to my wife and to listen to my heart. It has never let me down. But that's what it takes to make such a monumental move. And I told you before, my presence here, I'm firmly convinced, is divinely orchestrated, and that was just one of the stanzas that was necessary. We looked at over 70 homes in person and online in Maine and 4 other northern states. Of all the houses we could have bought, of all the communities we could have settled in, of all the churches we could have joined, Cross in the Woods called to us. Coincidence? I don't think so.
We're being called, that's for sure. We just don't know why. We may never know. But we'll just continue on listening to whatever the Lord places in our heart and being obedient, lifting people up who He puts in our path who need lifting up. Maybe it's just about you getting the invitation to come to Cross in the Woods. Miraculous things are happening here. Something powerful is at play here. The Lord is at work here. Lives change here. Do you need hope? Without faith, there is no hope. Come and see for yourself. Taste and see the goodness of the Lord. Take heart in the words of the prophet Jeremiah. Thus says the Lord, for know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future.